Wine Bank for sponsoring our tomorrow news. And now let's head into the K-Wave News Zoom room. We're standing by, Jason.
Yeah, Landon Aydlett with the National Weather Service giving us a ad hoc tour. Fittingly, as soon as he comes in, it starts to rain.
That must be a sign.
Landon, you're good, man. I guess you can make that happen.
Yeah, I was just looking out my windows. Like, yeah, there's that shower. Like, there's the airport control tower right over there, and the main passenger terminals over there. And y'all are just on the other side down the hill, past the overpass. So yeah, that's sitting right on top of you. But everywhere else, it's just kind of a overcast as the truck pulls into our driveway here. But yeah, this will be all clearing out later today. So let me go into my office right quick. So just seen spotty showers out here this morning as we start out our Monday.
No, it's coming down pretty hard here in Harmon, man.
Yeah, y'all are the highlight right now for the morning. So a lot of people are pretty dry out there. And let me show you the visible. Here we go. So not much out there except for these spotty showers. And y'all are the lucky ones. Looks like central Guam, primarily along the airport and northward to Dededo, Jigo, NCS, GRMC, Anderson Air Force Base. You all be getting that shower. And then elsewhere, spottier showers to the south. So this would be moving all across the island in the next half hour to an hour. But behind that, not much. You just see a lot of emptiness, a lot of drier weather behind that to the east. That's going to be the theme for the remainder of the week. And once we zoom out, there's really not much going on upstream of us as well. All the moisture, the showers and thunderstorms, that's all well to our south again. We have several pulses of tropical waves down there, but nothing poised for development in our region. That's the good news for folks, especially in Yap and Plow, where they've seen the action for the last month and a half with Surigay and then Choi Wan. I think it was like early last week, which gave us some showers. But that's about it. So go ahead and cue up the slides, Jason, and we'll start from the top. It's actually a pretty dull day out there, which is not bad in the world of weather. No headlines to speak of. We have a moderate risk of rip currents out there across Guam and the Sinai along east-facing reefs, and the Guam fire danger is moderate. That's going to continue at least for the next several days. If we don't get any significant rainfall, then that will probably creep up gradually, but it's just a matter of time before we get more showers in the region. The next slide. Yeah, spotty showers. Temperature 77 at the last hour here at the Guam International Airport. The winds were nearly calm across the region. East at 3 miles per hour here at Guam and 7 miles per hour at Saipan. We're going to see this trend continue for the next several days through most of the week, and that could have some implications for weather around Wednesday and Thursday. And I'm watching the video from your parking lot at the studios. That's a beautiful downpour. I love watching that. You know, I wish we had that action over here right now. But the rainfall, yesterday we had 0.03 inches. And so for the month, we are down just a little bit for the month, but it's still early in the game. And for the rainfall for the year, we are still a couple inches below normal for the year, but you are going to be measuring up there at the studio. So yeah, we're talking about the Connecticut Whalers. And this is the next slide. The Connecticut Whalers, I'm like, that sounds familiar. And I'm like, I think that's the Carolina Hurricanes.
And sure enough, rub it in.
That is the Carolina Hurricanes.
They're always going to be the Hartford Whalers, buddy. Come on now. You guys got the ring. Yeah. We got the coolest sports logo that was ever invented.
I got the ring. That was my first season with the Carolina Hurricanes. My brother and I, we worked there after college, and we were there for almost 3 years. And so this larger picture, that's Brandon. He was the bartender in the suite, one of the luxury suites. And it was the Edmonton Oilers from Canada. They were the team we were fighting against for the Stanley Cup championship. And so we had the suite of all the ritzy Edmonton Oilers, and it was a quiet suite at the end of the night. So yeah, it was quite a celebrative event. The pictures to the left, that's us in the penalty box, of course. Well, bad forecasting. I don't know.
Notably without Wayne Gretzky by that point.
Without Wayne Gretzky, of course. And then we had a snowman. So every once in a while we get to go and skate on the ice rink every Christmas. So that was a great time. Now, from the hurricanes, we're going to go into the tropical cyclones on the next slide. And as I mentioned last week, we are in typhoon preparedness month, and that's for the month of June. So Does that mean we're going to have a lot of action this month? Not necessarily, but it just means this is where we revisit our preparedness plans. We understand the aspects of tropical cyclones, how they form, the warning process, and how to be prepared to mitigate our losses. And that's what we at the National Weather Service, we want to do to make sure our population is prepared and ready for whatever the nature throws at us. Tropical cyclones, that is an encompassing term to include tropical depression, tropical storm, typhoon, and super typhoons. And these are those criteria based on the wind intensity. So once we have an invest area that we're watching with the Joint Typhoon Warning Center that has a numbering series of 90 to 99, that's affixed to W for the West Pacific. Once that has been developed and reaches the intensity of tropical depression, that's when the 90s number disappears and goes to something like 04W or 05W. That's the number of storms in the basin beginning in January 1st. So Choi Wan was our fourth warned on system. That was tropical depression and then tropical storm Choi Wan. Our next storm will be number 05W after it's been an invest area. Once it graduates the category, it goes from depression, tropical storm, typhoon, and then on up to the worst of storms, the super typhoon. And some climatology, I get asked this all the time. What's our typhoon season? And well, most people link it to like Atlantic and the Eastern Pacific typhoon season that begins, the hurricane season in the Atlantic, beginning on June 1 and goes on through November 31. Well, we have a busy period of the year, and that's typically for us July, August, September, October, November. But we don't like to say we have a typhoon season. We have a busier time of the year, but they can occur any time of the year. If you remember back to 2019, February, we had super typhoon Wu-Tip, and a number of people said, when was the last time we had a super typhoon in the month of February? Well, it was the previous year. There was a super typhoon in the West Pacific just east of Guam. It developed north of Pohnpei. It was a very short-lived event, moving generally northward. It affected no one, so it was very little talked about because that track did not threaten Guam at the time. And it reached a peak intensity of a super typhoon status for about 6 hours and then eventually weakened pretty rapidly until it met its demise well east of Guam in the CNMI. So very few people heard about that one. Very few people paid attention to it. And again, this just drives some of the fact that we can have these systems all throughout the year. The next slide, the first slide shows all the tropical cyclones, that's depression storms and typhoons. The next slide includes typhoons only within 1, 2, and 3 degrees from Guam. And this is the climatology from 1945 through September 2018. As you can see in this plot, those typhoons occur in February, March. They pop up a little bit higher in April and May, especially within 3 degrees of Guam. And then June, it bottoms out. So we're kind of in a lull of the year for typhoons. And then it starts going up in July, August, September, and our peak period is October, November, and then it starts falling again in December. So again, we cannot let our guard down anytime throughout the year. So the next slide, that shows our Facebook post that was posted yesterday, showing those dry conditions across Guam and the CNMI, but much more moisture to our south across Western Micronesia, Chuuk, Pohnpei, and Kosrae. That's all going to bubble up along and keep to our south with no threats to us as it moves generally west. And going to their satellite data, those winds are light across the region. So you see the light blues across Guam and Saipan. Those are 5 to 10 knots of wind over the water. And that's going to be a theme for the rest of the week with the stronger winds, more or less, in the open ocean to our east and along 10 degrees north latitude.
I'm trying to make it so that
Now that's going to have implications for us because we could get into our island convective event. So next slide, that shows that diurnal cycle. You have the sea breeze during the day and the land breeze at night. If these winds lighten up enough, we can see these daytime heating of the island mass generate some showers and thunderstorms over the island with a light trade wind that'll push the stuff along Western Guam like Agate, Pidi, Tumon Bay, NCS area, and then into the western coastal waters of Guam. And so this is the possibility that we're looking at around Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So keep up to date to our forecast in case these things develop. Again, in these scenarios, not everybody sees the action during the day. It's more spotty in nature, and it can drop locally heavy rainfall in small areas that are under the gun with that. And then, like a bad relationship, it breaks up shortly after it starts. And so that's the cycle we're going to be looking at possibly Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Also, with the light winds, our seas and surf will be falling through the next several days. Right now, we're looking at combined seas of 2 to 4 feet, primarily at east swell of 2 to 3 feet. That's going to fall just a little bit for much of the week. We're going to have a low risk of rip currents. So if you like to go out there and spearfish, this would be a great week for it. Even on the eastern reefs where it's typically dangerous with those trade wind swell and wind waves. So it's going to be a beautiful week for water activities. But again, check the weather forecast because things can develop. Last slide. This is where we look at for the rest of the week. Not bad. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy most every day, but I put that asterisk for midweek because we could see the isolated thunderstorms and heavier showers in the afternoon hours of Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Right now, our forecast does not reflect that until we get more information and a better feel for how this could evolve. So that's all I've got for you today.
Okay, and hang on one
Beautiful
sec,
week.
Landon, because I got something for you since you were talking smack about hockey just a second ago. Okay, if you, I'm gonna bring this picture up here real quick. Go ahead, sir. So if you check your WhatsApp, I just sent this to you, but there you go. Hartford Whalers, best sports logo ever created, and fittingly, that was Crystal who we had on the show earlier. So I know you want to throw your Carolina Hurricanes at us. You know, your 3 years of history, and you guys won the Stanley Cup. All due respect, but for me, they're always going to be the Whalers. I love my Whalers shirt.
Yeah, it'll always be the Carolina Hurricanes for me.
Oh, boy.
They are superior.
We're going to have to agree to disagree on that one, buddy.
Don't mess with the Hurricanes.
There you go. Well, Whalers are nothing to sneeze at either. So, you know, we'll talk sports some other day. But always good to hear from you, man.
Always great to see y'all and enjoy the showers. I'm thinking it's probably drier over there by now. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's overcast right now, but I see Mr. Sun's right around the corner. So we are going to take a commercial break. Oops.
It's definitely bright out there now.
Oh, good. Well, you know, you're going to get our clouds in about 20 seconds, as is customary on Guam. But we're going to take a break, my friends, and when we come back, we are going to GVB, where former Governor Carl Gutierrez and Nadine Leon Guerrero are standing by, and we're going to talk about the Vax to Win promotion and a whole lot more when the link